You know, I didn't bother to look up. Can I open the other one? We just make a whole game of petting the cats. I'd be okay with that. Burn the place down. Drop me. No flying here. Guess we can buy some new equipment now. What is this? World Force Surface Ace or Surface. I'll take it, whatever it is. Last time I didn't spend a lot of money on parts. This time I will. There are a lot of parts. I'll try and buy everything. Of course, I'm assuming that as we work through the campaign, we'll naturally, you know, unlock this stuff. I can buy furniture. Well, that tracks. I guess I can buy furniture for our office. Ooh, I don't have a lot of money left after buying the equipment. I don't know what to buy. I don't. Have a little music going in here. Something for the cats. Typewriter. Why is this so expensive? I'll get the rug. I'll get the cool lamp. No, I won't. I don't have a dad. Some of the stuff is free for some reason. Okay. Okay. Well, how do I decorate? Or does this stuff come to my office automatically? How do I decorate? I turn TV on. Oh. Oh. I have to clean it too. Okay. Weird. That's an extra layer I didn't anticipate. I'll do it. It's weird, but I'll do it. I don't think you want to get your couch wet. It's going to mildew now. Okay. Now I can pick it up. It is the most hideous couch, though. Not a fan. Got an achievement just from placing that down, huh? Well, how do I pick it up not crooked? How do I get rid of it? Why is my screen cut off? Anybody else notice that? Uh-oh. Do I have to wash this too? Yep. Weird. Wait, is part of that... No, it says that's dirt. It just isn't coming clean. How do I, How do I get... Ooh, what is that? It's a multi-nozzle. That's kind of cool. Spray it down with soap. And then switch nozzles. There we go. That works. Alright, where's their dirt that I'm missing? Come on. Nitpicky. Meow. Why won't you let me place it here? That's where I want it. Right there. Place. Can I not place objects in here? I can only place objects down here? Well, that's kind of stupid. Put my hideous couch in the corner where I don't have to look at it. What was the other item? Well, this is just a practical item. This isn't really for decoration. You know what? I need to be able to climb up on top of this. No, I didn't say change nozzle. I do, I do, I do, be do, be do, do. Okay. Ah. Still need to figure out the top somehow. There's a ladder in the corner. I suppose I need to grab that. Okay. Everything's so crooked. I gotta be able to pick this up perfectly straight so that I can place it. Nope. How? Tell me how. No. Uh-oh. Hold tab. Hold on. Well, this sucks. They didn't think this through, did they? I do not like this hideous 70s rug. Not a fan. I'm not a fan of 70s decor where everything was brown and orange and ugly. Don't get me wrong, I like orange, but I don't like that 70s orange, you know what I mean? 60s, 70s decor. I like some of it. Not all of it. You really don't want me to put a rug down at the door, do you? Well, what about my equipment? Yeah, let's go do a job and have some fun with this thing. And I gotta remember how to pick a job. Let's go. Whoa. It covers so much area. Oh, this is going to be great. Why does it? I was like, why does it pull up sometimes? Oh, wow. I can just kind of walk along and get the edges. It's like a vacuum cleaner or a weed eater. Oh, I like this. A lot of leaves. Oh. Don't leave a little trail now. You're supposed to be making this easier on me. If you're gonna leave a little trail, then what's the point? Maybe you're not the chosen one after all. I don't know. This is satisfying. As long as it stops leaving little gaps. We need a house cleaning simulator. Is that a thing that exists? I'm going to have to look that up. Because that, I'd be in heaven then. Imagine all of the OCD brains and the itch that would scratch. All of the other, imagine all the people who are autistic out there and cleaning is kind of like their thing. Do you have any idea how great that would be? Like, cleaning is the only life skill that I have, and I'm pretty damn good at it. I gotta say, this is really hitting my brain today. Just, this is nice. This is like the most stress relieving thing I've done in ages. It's making my brain go burr. I want to say there's like a lawn care simulator too. I'm just going to quickly become a Pokemon / simulator channel. That's the only two things I ever play. You know what? I don't care. At this point in my career, I don't care. I don't. All year, all I have done is talked about how, ooh, we're in year 9 on my channel. Year 10 is going to be big. I'm going to play this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Built a new computer. I'm probably still going to be sitting here playing Pokemon and PowerWash Simulator. And I don't even care. Because, like, at this point, who am I, you know... Who am I chasing? What viewers am I chasing away? Potential new viewers? No. Nobody. No. Welcome. Tea of Tranquility. Well, I'm never going to want to use another tool. But I'm going to have to see. I have different sizes. Hello, Mr. Gnome. I'm having too much fun. You might have to stop me, Mr. Gnome. thing is a beast. All right, I'm gonna check one last. There we go. Oh, I forgot about this little area out here. Okay. Well, you know what? This will at least get those annoying ground parts that I always complain about and make that a lot quicker. It'll also make cleaning rugs more efficient. Come to think of it. This is too good. You can't have given me something this great this early on. Like, this feels like late game something or another that we would unlock, yeah? It does have a weird sound to it, though. I like the hum of equipment, though. I can't stand quiet. I need white noise at all times because absolute silence drives me insane. I don't know the last time I sat in absolute silence. Now, I always try to, you know, I always try. Every once in a while, I'll say, okay, this isn't normal. I should probably learn to live without a box fan running 24 hours a day or some sort of white noise or something. And I'll, like, during the winter time, when it's absolutely dead quiet at like 2 a.m. and there's not a pin drop to be heard, to be had. There's no wind. There's no sound of equipment. I could turn everything off, my computer, everything. No hum of equipment, no tick-tocks of clocks. I can get it so pin drop quiet that you would go insane. And I'll sit there for like 5 minutes, if that. And then I can't do it anymore. And the thing is, they say that silence is good for you. It's good for the brain, good for whatever. I'm not a scientist. Another one? There are two of you? But the thing is, I can't handle it. Psychologically, I can't handle absolute silence. I just can't do it. I can't. I was so yawny yesterday trying to stream Pokopia or record or whatever I ended up doing. I've been doing some pre-recorded videos lately. That's what I'm doing today. I'm pre-recording this instead of streaming it. You know, I've been kind of feeling a little iffy on streaming lately. When I first started doing this, I only did pre-recorded videos. I did not have the bandwidth for streaming when I first started a decade ago. But we've come a long way. I have gigabit internet, gigabyte, gigabit, however you want to pronounce it. I have that now. Hey, there's a drain here. What was that? Like a bug in my ear. I just saw naked footprint. We got a big foot. Somebody's clanking and clanking in there. See? Giant feet. Giant hands. I believe we have ourselves a big feet. There's a Bigfoot in there. A Sasquatch. Okay, I need to change nozzles. Let's see what this can do. Because this has been bugging me the whole time we've been here. Yeah. Figured as much. Well, dang, that's all of it, man. Yeah, there's nothing on the outside. I'm sorry, but I got it all. Where is there green left? Where? On the outside, maybe? Bullshit. That's my orange nozzle. Orange seems to be the best nozzle. It's between the white one and the red one. It's powerful, yet has a wide enough, you know, reach where it doesn't take super long time. I would love to know the history behind the British and their tea. The tea drinking. I would like to know the history of human tea drinking in general. That's something that I've been meaning to look up for the past few days, because when you think tea, you think like, I don't know, British, or the Chinese are big on tea, I think, or maybe the Japanese. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't really know a lot about tea. I know that where I grew up in the American South, people are big on cold iced teas, not so much like warm hot tea. I try to like hot tea. Even in the winter, I tried to drink it warm and I just didn't like it warm. I prefer my tea cold. I've tried I've tried green tea and flavor teas, and I didn't care for that either. I definitely prefer the black tea leaves. Maybe I don't have the best palate for tea. I don't like bitter. I don't like sour. I've had too much sweet. I'm kind of burnt out on sweet things. Savory's my ticket, like pastas, cheeses, salt, that kind of thing. That's what gets me got. Having too much of that stuff will get me got. But I don't know. When it comes to tea, I'm pretty basic with the black tea. The only thing is, people will put entirely too much sugar in sweet tea and make it syrup. You have to be delicate with how much you use. You can use too little though as well, and then it just becomes flavored water. Flavored sugar water. You have to play around with the balance until you find what works for you. Growing up, my mom would always put 2 cups of sugar per gallon, which is insane. It'd be so sweet. I didn't know any better, you know. I drank it. But as an adult, I dialed back to, I first tried 1.5 and thought it's still a little too sweet. Then I went down to 1 cup per gallon, and that seems to be where I like it. Of course, I've gotten to the point to where I've started using stevia in my tea instead of sugar. Everything has sugar. And of course, the United States is bad. We do not have the proper regulations here that you have in other countries. They're still putting just red dye and just dye in general and everything. Like if you buy orange juice in Europe or Canada, you get orange juice that looks like actual orange juice. Here in the States, they fill that sucker with orange dye until it looks like some sort of gross chemical. I don't know. Something about advertising. They do it for, you know, so it'll really pop on the shelf and you really think you're getting some orange juice. Orange juice doesn't look like that, I'm here to tell you. A smart person knows that. But what isn't caked in sugar is cankered, is loaded with sodium and preservatives, so it's hard to get away from that shit. And you're like, okay, well, I'll eat whole foods. You can't even do that. They coat that shit in chemicals and waxes to make it look good on the store shelf and last longer. You can't win. You can't win. You're like, I'll make my own food. How? Not everybody has farmland. Not everybody can grow food. Every plant I try to take care of dies. I suck. Then you have to worry about microplastic, chemical in your water, chemicals in your rainwater. It's the toxification of the earth is rolling out more quickly than I thought it would, which is unfortunate. Oh, wait, you know, let's use our little buddy. I'm over here about to do this the hard way. Maybe people complained about it taking too long to do ground and surface areas like this. They were like, don't worry, I got you. We heard you. You're a frog. When I first started doing YouTube, I had a headset instead of a microphone, and I would take my box fan and put it on the other side of the door, mainly because I didn't, you know, I wanted a sound barrier between my cousin and everybody else in the house because they would bitch and complain. Okay. It's 1. There we go. Now I just leave the fan in the room because noise gate and all that works just as fine. Or just as well. Works just fine, works just as well. You know what? We should talk about a very serious problem that I have, because I would love to get some feedback from you guys. I got this little problem, and it's not normal. Something I should probably work out with a psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever. And you're probably never going to hear another human being say this as long as you live, so prepare yourself, because what I'm about to tell you, you're not going to believe. The hell is that? I heard something loud. I don't see anything out there. I like being able to hold my phone up and use it as a mirror to see what's going on outside. I don't know. Maybe the city's out there doing something. I have no idea. Trash day was 2 days ago, so. I don't know. Anywho. And no, there really was something outside. I wasn't doing that for dramatic effect. So, I don't like music. Just gonna say that. Or more specifically, I don't like music anymore. I suppose that I am hardwired to still like music, but here's the thing. I can't find any music I like. I grew up in the 80s and 90s listening to multiple different styles of music. I grew up on the oldies, all the good stuff that I love. But at this point in my life, I've heard those songs so much, and I've just gone through so much emotional trauma over the years that it's hard to go back and listen to that stuff. It reminds me of happier times, which just depresses me severely, and I can't handle it. Then there, you know, in the 90s, my parents switched from listening to oldies to listening to Christian fucking bullshit music. So when I became a teenager, I went back and started listening to rock and roll music, rock music in general, and I loved it. I was listening to, oh, look at him. He's sitting here staring out over the, oops. You like the water so much? Go and get in it. Nah, I'm not going to be able to move him. But the 90s quickly became my jam, and I listened to 90s music for like a decade or so of my life. And then, you know, I started listening to, on top of 90s stuff, I started listening to kind of like a classic old rock station here where I live. And they played the same songs over and over. And I listened to that for a few years until it got to the point where I was so burnt out that now I can't even listen to some songs anymore. And I really didn't listen to anything new in the past decade, honestly. So I don't know pop music. I don't even know what the artists that I used to listen to are up to anymore. I just don't know. I don't know music anymore. The music that I do hear occasionally, like if I happen to be in somebody else's car, or if I'm in a store and something comes on the overhead speakers, it sounds awful to me, and I hate it. It feels like I've time traveled into another era of humanity, and I feel like an old relic from the past that's time traveled forward into the future. And that will happen if you spend a decade or two of your life living in a bubble under a rock, and you don't get out and go anywhere and do anything, and you don't watch television, or you don't pay attention to what's happening in the world. That's kind of what happened to me in a way. I just never gave enough of a fuck. I tried to keep up with the news. I tried to keep up with everything that was happening, but it's just too depressing, and I had to bail. I had to bail out on all of it. But the stuff they make now, I hate. I just hate. And I can't go back and listen to any of the stuff I used to like because it's too much of an emotional bombshell. Like, I'm a different person now. I live a different life. And I can't re-listen to. And I'm kind of having a little bit of the same problem with television, too. I'm kind of having a hard time going back and watching old stuff that I used to watch. I need new stuff. Everything that I used to like seems, and it is, it's the You're Getting Older episode of South Park. The things that I used to like sound like shit to me now. Tyler he'll send me a song to listen to, and it'll be like a punk rock or alt rock song or something it's newly made, but it sounds like something we would have listened to in the early 2000s. And it'll sound good. It'll be well made, but like, it's not my taste. It feels whiny and emo-y, and I'm not a youth anymore. I'm in my 40s. That music doesn't hit the same for me that it did when I was 20. And he doesn't like that, I don't think. I don't think Tyler likes that, but it's like, I'm a jaded, cynical adult. It's just, it's not the same anymore. You know what I mean? Life is not a fair thing. Life is hard for most people. Most of the time, too. And you have to do the best you can to survive. And for me, that's avoiding things that make me emotionally compromised. And I've spent so many years just burying everything deep down. No counseling, no help, no talking to anybody, just bury. Like most men do, like like every generation that comes before me did. Stuff it down with brown, just drink your problems away, pill pop or smoke your problems away. Thankfully, I didn't do any of that. I just lived in denial. If I abused anything, it was food. But, no, I did not properly digest anything. And here's the thing too, and here's a tip for anybody that might be still listening or watching this episode. One of the most important things that you can do for yourself, and I'm going to be a hypocrite because I don't do this anymore myself, is you need to unplug sometimes. Like, the only time I never have earbuds in anymore is when I'm in the shower. And some days I'll even wear them in the shower. Like if I shower before I go to bed, and I've washed my entire head, washed the beard and everything. And I lay in bed all day and I don't have a very active day. When I shower again that next evening, I've done no moving, no sweating, nothing. I'll just wash maybe from the neck down or maybe just my face and beard. I won't do the whole head, and I'll leave earbuds in my ears so I can listen, because I'm to a point in my life where I can't be left alone with my thoughts. Like, even when I go to sleep, I don't turn everything off and just go to sleep, because if I lay there in silence while falling asleep, then my brain will begin to digest reality, which is what you're supposed to do. Your brain defrags like an actual computer will. It it does all the same things that your computer and your hard drive will. It moves things around. It decides which memories to keep, which ones can be let go. It catalogs. Your brain does a lot of archiving and cleaning and everything while you're on your way to sleep. While you're sleeping, your brain washes itself, washes away debris. And again, this is a very layman's way of explaining it, but this is real stuff that happens. And for people like me who can't face reality, but also doesn't want to dive into like drugs and alcohol, for me, my escape is just always media. I need something going at all times. I cannot be left alone with my thoughts. And this is the most fucked up, unhealthy way to live. If I were monetized on YouTube, YouTube would probably like demonetize this video, because they demonetize everything these days. All you have to fucking do is blink wrong and you're demonetized. And everybody on YouTube is chasing the goddamn dollar, so YouTube is shot to hell. But yeah, it's something I need to work on, but like at this point I don't have the tools. Like, I don't have health insurance. I don't have money. I can't. I said money. I don't have money. I don't have a way to help myself. So I'm going to continue to live in denial. Just until my early onset dementia kicks in, which I'm probably going to have. Because it runs in my family pretty bad. Late 60s, early 70s, it usually comes in like a God damn her and her bitch ass. I can't even say like a wrecking ball anymore. Like a freight train through a brick wall. Damn it, I hate everything after the year 2000. But yeah, that's me. I don't really listen to music anymore. I can't. And it's not for lack of trying. I have looked. I have listened to new stuff. I've tried multiple genres. I've tried different musicians from around the world, different periods in human history. Like, I've done everything you could possibly imagine. Tons of music that's not even in English. I've tried instrumental only. I've tried a cappella. I've tried everything from video game music to soundtracks to experimental bullshit. I have tried my hardest to find something, anything that I could latch on to and enjoy, and I can't. I was into lo-fi for a little bit, trying to make that work, but after a while it all just sounds like the same bullshit. You know what I mean? It's nice. It's a nice change if you're new to it, but eventually it just all runs together and sounds the same. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to come on and lay my problems at your feet. I just wanted to be honest while it was on my mind. You know, I was sitting here thinking about music. Ooh, can I get back? I was going to say, can I get back up? It's like having a Roomba. Those little vacuum cleaners that go around your house on their own. That's fine if you like those things. I prefer to do my own vacuuming. Of course, I find vacuuming fun. Giant ass apple that I'm having to clean here. Okay, I think it's time we change back. And then go with nozzle. See, not the soap. See, I don't know the differences in the nozzles. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh. Sizes. Okay. We'll just switch back over and work on it this way. Granted, we got a shit ton done that would have taken twice or 3 times as long with that the new one. But yeah, I like coming in here with my actual fine-tooth comb here. You get to a certain point in human history and human development too, where everything is derivative. It's hard to find anything original anymore. Not that you can't, it's just hard to do. Damn it, I fell. I don't know. I don't know. I am working on things, you know, that will raise my happiness. Trying to cut off things that don't benefit me anymore. I'm trying to get away from social media, future technology, and trying to go back to manually doing most stuff. I played around with AI for a while. You know, I had the ChatGPT. I kept hearing about it. And they did that South Park episode where it was half written by, I want to say Trey wrote half and ChatGPT wrote half. And I think he did that as a goof. After that, I decided to start looking into it, and I put it on my phone and I played around with it for a bit. I thought it was neat, but it was also gimmicky, and I didn't really have any like real world application for it. Then ChatGPT was bought and sold. Some sort of like right-wing asshole bought it, and I thought, well, it's dead to me now. Fuck OpenAI. And then I switched over to Google Gemini because Google handles all my stuff anyway. You know, my home platform is YouTube. I use Gmail. I use Google Drive. So everything that I do is through Google anyway. I got a Google phone. So I thought, I'll just start using Gemini. Then the more I kept playing around with Gemini, the more people kept turning on AI. Like, you already had the dissenting artists who weren't happy that AI was like basically a plagiarist tool. They source existing human artwork to train the models, and then, you know, it's thievery, it's theft. Even though humans operate the same way, like, you're not really ever going to make anything original unless you're born and raised in a vacuum and then giving some crayons. Like, everything that makes up who you are as a human being is based on your experiences in life. you're going to have influences on you, even if you don't think you do. You're going to have other art, whether it be like something somebody drew, painted, a TV show, music. You're influenced, whether you realize it or not, by existing material. That so-called human creativity is basically just neurons producing something that's either a slight or a major, it's either a slight amalgamation or a major deviation from the original, yada, yada, yada. I ain't gonna argue with these pretentious artists all day, and believe me, I have. I'm not the biggest fan of artists, especially online artists. Everyone I've ever tried to deal with or work with has been a pretentious asshole. But anywho, I said I'll stand in solidarity with people anyway because it's the morally right thing to do. You know, they're building all these data centers now that are disruptive and harmful to the environment and to communities. Yeah, maybe it's time for me to pull back too and stop using all this AI. Of course, I don't use AI in my YouTube stuff. I don't make AI thumbnails. I don't have scripts that are written by AI. Like I've not used it up until recently. Back during Jurassic June of 2026, I thought it would be funny and meta if I use Google Gemini to help me instead of using like a human written walkthrough somewhere. I thought, let me have AI help me when I get stuck. So if you go back and look at my Jurassic Park SNES playthrough that's on my channel, you'll see me using Google Gemini to try to help me walk through the game. And it's awful at it. It's terrible. It's broken and it doesn't work. But it's supposed to be like a meta commentary, but I don't do that kind of thing. I don't really make points or do meta commentary. So I think I might have fucked up, and I think it might fall on deaf ears. But my logic at the time was, you know, none of the tech in Jurassic Park worked right. Everything kept breaking. The dinosaurs were sick. They found a way to reproduce. You had espionage due to Nedry. The whole point that Michael Crichton was trying to make was an over-reliance on automation and playing with tools we ought not be playing with, unreliability, just a whole fucking slew of like, there were a lot of stuff. There was a lot. Michael Crichton was working with a lot of concepts there in the novelization of Jurassic Park. So I thought it would kind of be funny if I used Google Gemini to help me. But usually when I do, I'd say for the past year or so, when I do need to look something up and I'm streaming, I will reach for AI and ask AI. But now I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to go back to just looking stuff up the old-fashioned way. So yeah. And who knows, maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help my mentality a little bit. You know, maybe this will be a good way for me to heal whatever's broken in my brain. I don't know. I hear something in there. I'm scared he's gonna come out and get me. just stomping around in there. I get it though. I'm 6'4" too, and fat. I stomp around my house when I'm just trying to walk. So I get it, big guy. I gets it. How did I miss that much? It is hard to get away from using Google Gemini, though, because I've gotten so accustomed to using that just to look stuff up now. Instead of the old-fashioned way of like Googling something in a web browser, now I immediately just pull up AI. And I like that because I can Google something by asking Gemini, and it'll give me the Googled answer, which that's all it is. It's a glorified Googler. And then if I have additional questions, it'll help me like I'm talking to a person. So I like it in that way. And I might keep using it in that way. I don't know yet. You know, I undetermined. That's one of those we'll have to wait and see kind of situations. But as far as like using it for image creation and things like that, yeah, probably not a good idea because people are going to roast you, and it usually doesn't even look good to begin with. I don't know. Like today, at the time of recording this, I don't know what day I'll post this video, but Friday, August 7th, 2026, it's the 7th anniversary of my Discord, The Roost. And I would like to post a picture in there and say happy anniversary, but if I make it myself, it's probably going to be generic, and if I have AI make it, it's going to be generic. But I guess in that situation, it would be best just to make it myself. But anywho, speaking of music from earlier, the AI music that I've heard is really awful, and I hate it. I will say that anybody who tries to argue with me on the morality of like AI music, it lacks soul, it lacks human input, you know. Blah, blah. I don't give a shit. Humans are awful and I hate them. On top of that, music isn't free. Music doesn't want to be heard. You have to pay for it through streaming now. You can't even hardly buy it on record or CD anymore. And when you do, you have to rebuy it every so many years. You're buying the same albums over and over. You're buying the same music over and over. Then you got to buy the t-shirts. You got to pay for expensive concert tickets. It's a whole fucking thing. It's an industry. It's a capitalist industry. It's a product. Music has not been soulful and human made for a very long time. You might like an artist and you might like some of the music they make. I do. We all do. But here's the thing. Music is meant to be free. It's an expression of the soul. Anything, any art in general worth its weight in gold is free. You shouldn't have to pay for a painting or a book or music. You shouldn't have to pay for any of that stuff. Now, where I, give up the argument of having to pay for artwork is things like television, movies, video games, just strictly by the nature of the beast. Having to put that together, having to employ a shit ton of people on a movie set or a TV set, at that point, yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to monetize the effort. I understand that. But and I always get such shit for this opinion too. People are like, but I make a living doing YouTube. Well, good for you. I make a living as an art as a uh, author. Wow, I lost the word author there. You know, I'm Stephen King. I've written tons of books you love. Yeah, you have. Good for you. Here's your cookie. I don't know. My argument as far as art is concerned is that art should be free. The moment you monetize art, it's no longer art, in my opinion. It becomes a product, a cynical capitalist product. And if you don't like that opinion, you can take it and you can shove it up your ass. That's what you can do if you don't like that opinion. Because quite frankly, I've had enough of people's bullshit. I really have. I'm sorry, but I've had enough of their bullshit. And people always argue with me on that too. They're like, video games are art. Are they? Then, you know, and then you get into the whole thing of like, well, what is art? Well, art is this, art is that. No, 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 no. Like the whole art is worth what the market will pay for it. I get that. But like, again, the expression of thought, soul, all of that should inherently be free. So like this video game that we're currently playing, that I'm playing, or you're watching me play, this is a product. This is an entertainment product. That's what this is. I don't think it's art. I think it's an entertainment product. Now, if the team made it, put it out for free, open sourced on the internet, yada, yada, art. You pay for it, it's not art. That's my line. That's my distinction. And if you don't like it, you can lump it. You know I'm right. Anytime money gets involved, it taints. Money taints everything it touches. For Christ's sakes, people who are arguing with me and don't believe me on this, they have monetized your goddamn water. They have monetized stuff you own. Land tax. You have to pay the government taxes on the land and the home that you own. You have to pay for, let's see, pay to get married, pay to go fishing, pay to drive a car, pay to vote now in the States because you have to have a license, which should be free. If they're going to force you to produce a picture ID, it shouldn't be paid for. That's paywalling a constitutional right. Yeah, you pay for your music, you pay for your TV, you pay 18 streaming services because all your shows are on different streaming services. You're now paying $80+ for your video games. Your video game consoles have now shot up to $800, $500 to $800 a piece. Like, where does it end? You pay for everything. You pay for every damn thing. Well, I gotta make a living. No, you don't. Not off your art, you don't. If you truly cared, but it's my passion. I don't want to have to go stand up all day and work all day and then come home and work on my tough. If you want your art to be pure, if you want it to be free from that monster, it has to remain free. And people have argued with me on this in the past, and IRL too. I've had people argue that so you don't see being a musician as a real job. You don't see being a YouTuber as a real job. You don't see being an author as a real job. No, I think they're jobs. You want to get paid for it, you go right ahead and you get paid for it. You do you. But I still stand by my argument. If the thing you produce gets sold for profit, then it's an entertainment product. It's not art. It is what it is. People, you can argue with me till you're blue in the face, but I'm a stubborn old man, and this is my firmly held belief. And don't get me started on people who think that those characters they draw, like that Spider-Man that you drew, that Sonic the Hedgehog original character that you drew. I got some news for you, sport. You might like it, but it's not necessarily yours. You created a character in an existing universe and an existing canon. You didn't create anything original there, sport. I'm sorry to tell you. Ooh, people are gonna hate me when they watch this episode. I'm sorry, but I've been sitting on these thoughts and opinions now for years, but I've kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to get any flack. But lately, I've just been feeling like I'm doing all this masking for no effort. I sit here on YouTube, on the internet, with a happy face and a happy demeanor, unless I'm bitching about a video game or something, and I'm trying to play cutesy with everybody and be a good person, when that's not who I am. I'm a rage-filled, hate-filled monster who's cynical because the world wasn't nice to him. Kind of a tit in that way, But here's the thing. I'm tired of not being honest with myself and open about who I am as a person. I'm sick of it, man. And that's not to say that I'm going to come on here and be ugly and unpleasant. I'm just having a moment. Let me have my moment. You can't deal with me having a moment. Well, how's the door? Probably best I didn't stream all this. I'm not cutting it out, though. I don't do that. And that's another thing. Yesterday, I had a thought. Why am I trying to make my stuff on YouTube look like everybody else's? Intercut with jokes and have on all these guests, have on my jackass friends. I don't have any jackass friends. At this point, I got like 1 or 2 friends left. At best. They don't really care to do this, so this is my thing now. I'll keep playing with Tyler as long as he'll play with me, but I'm kind of, done playing with everybody else. I like playing with Lewis, though. Lewis and I are pals. But, there's a language barrier there, so it's kind of hard to do, but I like Lewis. He's a good friend of mine now. But, yeah, no, I think 10 years into this, I'm finally, really narrowing in on why I do this and why it makes me happy and why I continue to produce content and not kowtowing to the you should do this and you should do that people, you know what I mean? I think I'm happy doing exactly what I do, exactly how I do it, and I don't think I'm going to change anything anytime soon. I do still plan to try and play a wider variety of games going forward in year 10, but as far as my personality, I just can't be something I'm not. I can't come on here and be sunshine and lollipops. I'm too old and too cynical for that. But I do promise that I won't bitch all the time and, be a miserable piece of shit. I'll try to be as pleasant as I can, unless I'm having an open moment like I am today where I'm just telling you like it is. But no, I have a gut feeling that my opinion is not the opinion of most people. And I think that there are going to be a lot of butthurt artists. I think there's going to be a lot of butthurt people who produce music. I think I've generally pissed off everybody with this episode, and it is unfortunate. And I part of me wants to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. It wasn't my intent. But yeah, I did mean to it. I did mean to hurt your feelings. Somebody needs to rip off that Band-Aid, because I grew up in the 90s playing Sonic the Hedgehog, loving Sonic, loving Tails, loving Knuckles, loving that whole universe. And then in the 2000s, when the internet came out and DeviantArt blew up and became a thing, suddenly Sonic took on this dark, evil, twisted, sicko, just the shit I have seen on the internet. And I keep going to Sonic because it's a meme and it's You know, the Sonic original characters. There's the whole Chris Chan thing. All of that. So you get kind of where I'm coming from with this. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you sat down and draw Sonic art. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you sit down and draw stuff. You know the people that I'm talking about. You're just being facetious if you take offense and think I'm generalizing everybody on the internet. Um, you know the type of people I'm talking about that draw that sick shit. But let me look. It's getting awfully dark outside. I see the wind's picking up. Let me check the radar. Let's see what kind of storms we got. Oh my god. Okay. I'm surrounded by weather. If it starts to storm really bad, we'll call it. But yeah. You should be happy that I'm opening up about all of this stuff, you know. Because at the end of the day, I could come on here and be a fake person, and I just couldn't live with myself. I would rather be hated by everybody for being my genuine self than come onto YouTube and play a character that everybody loves and is soulless. It is way more important to me to have no subscribers and be hated at, while being myself. That's what's important to me. I have my principles, I have my morals. You know what I mean? But yeah, I should probably work through some of my stuff, because like not liking music is just one of the most fucked up things that can happen to a person, because music is so expressive and universal. Like humans aren't even the only animals that sing. I mean, birds sing, for fuck's sake. I'll try and figure that out. I'm sure it'll work itself out in time. But I'm going to die on the hill about all the stuff I said about the art. Let's see. Mr. Spot. Miss some more spots. Well, sometimes they get so small that it's hard to see the dirt. I hear a tea kettle whistling. Thunder! Yeah, we might have to split this job up, which is fine. We've been going for a while, and we started in the office anyway. Yeah. Just try and get this doorway, and we'll call it a day. And it's a shame too, because we're so close. We're 78% of the way done. But it would still take another 40 minutes to finish, I think. Yeah. I don't think you should have to pay to see someone express themselves. I don't know. I think there are just some things that money can't buy. And understanding, knowledge shouldn't be one of them. I think school should be free. I think universities should be free. I think medicine and medical care should be free. What about the doctors? Pay them universally. There's ways to do it. You just don't want to do it. There's always the what about Kevins and the politicians that fearmonger, and it's all fucking stupid. There are easy ways to fix everything. You just don't want to do it. You need to continue to have artificially created scarcities. You know, the 1% and the rich elite, their money's not worth as much if everybody's doing well. The more we suffer and do without, the more their money is worth. And they have more money that they could spend in a million lifetimes. At this point, it's just a pissing game between them and the other rich people. And we all pay the price. And that price is suffering. But that's a whole other fucking bullshit conversation for another day. But yeah. Art is free. If you paid, it's not art. That's my hill I'm dying on. And no, before anybody asks, what I do is not art. I am not an artist. I have never produced art a day in my life. Yes, I take pictures and I post them to Instagram, and I'm proud of those pictures. I think some of them are funny. I think some of them are cool. I think there might be a couple of damn fine pictures in the whole lot of hundreds of them, but most of them are just there for kicks and giggles. I don't charge. I don't make you pay, but I, at the same time, as far as them being art, well, that kind of is up for debate. I don't necessarily see them as art myself. I just see them as pictures for you to look at and enjoy, but I guess that is art in a way. But that does not make me an artist. I do not fancy myself an artist. Any idiot with a cell phone these days, and everybody has a cell phone, can take pictures and put them on Instagram. Then again, Instagram, there's ads when you scroll Instagram. So there you go. You're paying with your time and your attention. So that's not art. I think the people who might argue back against me the most might be YouTubers who say, well, I made this film and it's artful and, it's deep and meaningful and says all these things and expresses all this emotion. And you can't say that's not art. Yes, can. Yes, I am. Yes, I do. Do you run ads? Yeah. It's products, not art. If money is involved, it's not art. I think one of the biggest complaints people are having against AI is a lot of that too. It's like, well, you should pay an artist to make this for you and make that for you. You're taking a job away from somebody. Yeah. Yeah, AI is a son of a bitch. It's you should probably pay a human to make your product. You want those emojis for your Twitch stream? Pay somebody to make those for you. Don't use AI for that. Like, we all should be watching it. Like, hate me all you want and disagree with me all you want, but I think one of the things that we can all agree on is the fact that we should be watching each other's backs the best we can, because nobody else is going to look out for us. You know what I mean? It's us versus them. They own the board. They own the game. They own the pieces, which are us. They own every aspect of reality. They own it. And the only thing that we have left that they don't own is our self-expression, our art. And now they've taken that away too, using AI. So they have successfully, at this point, I think with AI, they have now successfully found a way to completely take away everything that makes us human, and it can now be outsourced to automation. And I think that tickles them pink. So yeah, I am definitely of the camp of like, have a human make as many things as possible, because like, what are we gonna do when they don't need us anymore for their factories? What are you gonna do when a machine can go around Walmart, grab all the things you've ordered in your curbside pickup, and they can put it in a basket and bring it out to your car? What are you going to do then? Who are you employing then? A few mechanics, a few supervisors to look over the machines? We're so fucked. We're so fucked. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today. The wind is kicking up. I see it's raining. I don't want to lose power in the middle of recording this episode. We've also been recording for an hour and a half, which is great. Got a lot done today, and I have probably pissed off more people than I've ever pissed off in my life, but I honestly don't care anymore. See ya. And remember, if you pay for it, it's not art, it's a product.